Hi, this is Bill Watkins, and I want to take a little bit of time with you and talk about reasons we have to rejoice. We've already talked about 3 different reasons for rejoicing. Today I want to share with you another one. Rejoice because when you suffer, it's not in vain. That may sound a lot like what we talked about last week, but it has a slightly different emphasis. Let me take you to James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Think about what he just said here, that when you suffer, that God, through that pain and suffering, is bringing out something beautiful. He is using that to bring about something beautiful. You know, I don't know what an oyster feels like when it gets a piece of sand stuck inside of it. I know that it works to do something about it, but in the middle of that tension and irritation, God produces a pearl. For the tension and the irritation that is happening to us, God is producing something absolutely wonderful. You will be perfect and complete, lacking nothing in the end if you meet this with joy. Do you remember Romans chapter 8, verse 28? We know that all things work together for good to those who love the Lord, to those who are called according to his purpose. If you're a child of God, you're called according to his purpose. And if you're a faithful child of God, you love him. Then what do you know? If that's really true, what do you know? That all things work together for good. Now, that doesn't mean that all things that happen to us are good. They're not. There are some tragic, difficult, horrible things that happen to the people of God. But God is in the middle of all of those things, bringing about good. He doesn't cause the bad things to happen to us, but he does not allow the bad things that happen to us to destroy us. Instead, he uses the experiences of those things to bring us to something better. You know, so Paul could say this in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, beginning in verse 8. I want you to listen. We are hard pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. Can you identify with that? Hard pressed on every side. He says it's like life has so much pressure that you don't know how you can endure, and yet he said we're not crushed. Have you ever been in a place where you don't know what to do next? Paul understands that. He said, we are perplexed, but listen, but not in despair. In other words, we're not without hope. In the middle of the time that I don't know what to do next, my hope sustains me through that. We are persecuted, but in that persecution, we're not by ourselves. He says, we're not forsaken. And then this one, struck down. Sometimes life hits a blow on me that knocks me flat to the ground. It happens even though I'm a child of God. But here's the promise. I won't be destroyed. Struck down, but not destroyed. And then he puts it all in perspective, beginning in verse 16 of that same chapter. Listen, therefore we do not lose heart. Even though our outward man is perishing, yet our inward man is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. If you look at the current trials you're going through, if all you focus on is your hardships to the day, if you get all of your information from the bad news that you see on the internet and on television, on the radio, in the newspapers, I'm telling you, you're going to lose heart. But if you'll turn your eyes from the temporal and see the eternal, you'll be able to rejoice just the way that Paul rejoiced, because he's working in us more and more exceedingly an eternal weight of glory. I need an eternal perspective, even in the most difficult of times, even in the best of times. I need an eternal perspective. And God is working through trial to say, these aren't useless. And I won't just toss them out so that you'll forget them. I'll make something beautiful out of what's happening here. I will allow that to happen because I love you. Don't lose heart. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Thanks for watching.